Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Australian Report for Thursday, September the 9th. And in our bullish weekly cycle, we normally see Thursday as the bearish day, with it firming up over the late Thursday, Friday into Monday. So I want to look at two counts here. The reason I've got this count here for is this is wave 3 top already in play here. Now, we're expecting US markets to have this wave 3 top in next week. Okay, so a little bit more for them to go. So the thing that sort of haunts me here, as I've mentioned before, this move down through here is in 5 waves. So that means that after a correction back to the 61.8%, we should have another 5 waves down. But if that's going to be the case, then we should really be starting this wave 4, you know. Obviously, our banks can lead on this situation, and we are looking at ANZ. Probably, you know, it's not the flashiest looking. Where is it here? We've been looking at it in terms of, you know, this is only sort of slightly possible because it's never really made a nice clean high, so it's possible to look at this as an A, B, C, D, E here for this. If that's the case, then we'll push up from that point. Also too, I think I may have mentioned here that if this was going to be corrective, that would be an A wave, a B wave and a C wave here. So pretty much we could go long above this, above that high there. How far it's going to get us, I'm not sure. It may be that we just have 1, 2 here and go 3, 4, 5, finishing here, pulling back up 61.8% of the length of this move down through here. But this move down through here is pretty much in 3 waves, so yeah, we'll just have to keep an eye on this. But it does have, this big pattern has the potential to push this further up. So that would leave CBA, if I can just go to CBA here. We're looking at CBA with a possible top in here because I can squeeze 5 waves in here, but otherwise we could look at it as an A wave, a B wave and a C wave down here. Once again, this move could take us just to the 60, 50, 60% at 105 and move down from that point. So that I don't really know. We got nice volume in there yesterday with that little move up there. So it is possible that we could look at this as wave 4 and still have wave 5 to move in through here. I just don't know. It's just not clear, and when it's not clear, it just makes it a little bit difficult. I'll just go to the tick chart here just to see what we were doing here. We started counting it to the upside, which is kind of right. But even from this low here, it's like an A and a B and a C wave up here. So I just need to move that aside here. That's probably 1 and 2 in there. So we'll probably need looking at this as 3. So that's going to be a little bit higher there. That's going to be up there. So it does look a bit sort of bullish in that regard, because there's 5 little waves in here for 1 and back for 2 here. So this will be a little 3 in here, and this will be a 4. It might come down a bit more, but 5 up through to there. That would give that 3 and then that 4 and then that 5 at that point. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, yeah, look, it's just you know, if you were trading this, then the stop needs to go under see that little 5 waves there. The stop needs to go under there, because if that's breached, then you wouldn't want to be in the market at that point. So I will just put that in. I mean, we have talked about going long and things, but I just can't remember how we've been about that. So, but if you are long, then that would be under that. That would be the logical place for this. So I don't know if we go to the 105 and then we come down, or we just continue to the upside. If we get a classic trading levels pattern here, well, then we could certainly go to the upside at that point, and of course that would leave us with this larger with one more move to the upside here as wave 5. It is lagging a little bit though in terms of what's going on with the S&P and so on. It's also too, having wave 4 here is rather quite big for, you know, comparing it to wave 2 here. So that's a bit of a, I mean, that wave 4 is perfect size. So there's a good chance that we've got this here as the A wave here, and the B wave sitting here, and some sort of C wave, or even 1 and 2 here, and coming down for the third wave at that point too. So I'm just using the ABCs here because we're in wave 4 and they tend to get a little bit sort of complicated. So that's kind of where we are with this. So then that takes us back to to the ASX here. If this is not the case, then I would probably need to rearrange this here and put this wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and then look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, and put the third wave here, and then look at this as a fourth wave, as I've got on this 4-hour chart that I was considering here as a possible triangle sort of thing here, with wave 3 here, an A wave, and then an A, a B, a C, a D, and an E wave here. So in this case we can come down to here and then push off from that point and go up into wave 5. So we'll just see how that goes. If it does come back down, expect Thursday to be a bit softer, but if it does come back down and then climb onto the 75, we'll pick it up there and we'll pick it back up through group 1 at that time. But otherwise it's just going to breach that and come all the way down. In fact, this probably really, we've got those 2 lows there, which is nice, but we'd probably have to also put it like this as well. But anyway, let's see what the week sort of brings out in that way, because otherwise we'll need to look at it at something like this, with an A wave over here, and a B wave over here, and look at this in a slightly different manner, but and a stronger C wave down here for the A wave. Yeah, like I mentioned, we've got to count, even if you don't trade the S&P or the US stocks, it's still probably a good idea just to have a quick look to see how we've got them counted and where we're up to, because in a nutshell, all the stocks that we're looking at, most of them, and not all of them, but a good half of them, are coming up to this wave 3 here. And I just see that we've probably got about a week to get to that point, which is, not that long. And then we start into wave 4. Possibly there's a good case for it anyway, because there's a good case for it because stocks are in that position and indices are in that position. It's not confirmed, but the probability is building to that particular point. That's all I can say. So yeah, I still don't have an answer for the banks on this. I'm sorry about that. But if it doesn't stick out like dog's balls, well then, I just have to say that I don't know. And the thing here though is that that triangle pattern could play out, because the DAX has got that as well, to a point. A bit more complicated now, but the thing that haunts me here is this move down here having 5 waves, so that straight away tells me that I should be getting another 5 of equal length over here, if not more. The 38.2% retracement levels around here, I think, but the wave 4 1 lesser degrees over here, so it's quite a big move if we come here. And the other thing is too is that I think I may have mentioned, because Bitcoin has fallen out of bed, so to speak, gold went with it, so that's one commodity, and then I can see that the US dollar index has changed, and the Australian dollar has changed a little bit as well. So, we could see changes rippling through the markets because money is shifting. I don't fully, can't connect all the dots, but when one goes, a dominoes effect can play out as such. So we just need to be mindful of that. Okay, so let's have a quick look at China. So China's possibly got that sort of low in there. It's sort of okay, but I still need to verify that as an impulse wave to the upside, which I haven't. So that move could be corrective and we still come down further, because it's only rallied 50-60% up to that previous wave 4 in blue. So it can certainly go down from this point. So we need to sort of gather more information. We know that the other guys here, let's just have a quick look at those. I was just playing around with CBA here for that, so don't need to worry about that too much. But just want to have a look at the indices here. Just the Shanghai comp. Yeah, see, that's cranking. You know, we've been talking about this, haven't we? You know, to a point. So, yeah, it's just doing all the right things. You know, we looked at this being an impulse, corrective impulse. This here being corrective, a bit of a dodgy little dude in here, I understand that, but we had nice 5 waves here, and then we had another little impulse wave here, so we can start putting, so that would be 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 for the third, so that's 1 and 2 and 3. That could go up further, of course, so then we'll have a little 4 and 5, and then there'll still be another 4 and 5. So yeah, this is going to be up at 3, 8 here, easy peasy, and if not higher at that point as well, based on the bigger picture. So China and the Shanghai is, you know, is positive at that point. So that's that. Doesn't mean the A50 needs to push up from there, because you know you got the CCP moving in on sitting on the boards of TikTok and whatnot these days, and yeah, keeping a very tight rein on not letting them have too much power. So India is also fanging it as well. However, from this low here, we looked at this as 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 in here, and 3 and 4. So we're looking at wave 4 here. We've been talking about a correction for the last 3 or 4 days on here, so that's still playing out, and when it's finished, it'll push up. I'm not going to go in there and sort it all out, but yeah, it's doing all the right things at the right time. So yeah, I mean, India doesn't, you know, India, that's why I like India, because it just does its own thing when it's ready, you know. I mean, obviously it's, you know, the world is connected, and it's all, you know, how many boats are floating on the water in terms of trade and whatnot, but yeah, a lot of money flowing out of China into India, so all good news for those lovely people. Let's move on to iron ore. So iron ore here, okay, so well, we looked at a little 5-wave structure coming down through here. It looks like that's going to be breached, so it looks like we're going to be going down further. I'll need to go to the tick chart just to have a look at that, but as it stood or stands, we're looking for the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave. And also too, just got to remind ourselves that this first leg here was in 3 waves, so whatever's happening here, I just still see it as corrective. We're looking for BHP to turn and so on, but this could get bigger in a way. Maybe I need to go back and check that in 3 waves there. But even so, even looking at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 down here, then you know, we should let me go to the tick chart first before I start looking at other things. Let's just get a bit more data. Is 1,000 enough? Okay, yeah. Not sure how that counts through here. I can see parts of it. It looks like an A wave and then an A and a B and a C here, but then we've got that extra move there as well for that. But certainly pushing down and, you know, testing these lows here, so that's likely to go further down, and we talked about it being further down in terms of looking at all this 5 waves of 1 here and 2 here, so that certainly looks like the case. But anyway, we'll give it another session, but if it's going to go down further, then we come back to our chart, daily chart here for a moment. I mean, I should have a look at the US iron ore, but most of our iron ore's going here anyway, and obviously they're pushing, you know, they're manipulating the exchange at that end by, you know, so that would be, if that was going to go down further, that would have to be 1 here. We went back to, for that rally to that 50-60% area, so then that would be 3, 4 and 5. That would bring us down here further. Yeah, okay. Let's have a look at copper. So with copper here, we looked at this as as a 5-wave move to here with an A wave and a B wave, and yesterday we started to talk about this being the C wave here. I don't quite know if it's finished. We could count this as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and be finished here, but the third wave here, that would have be 1 and 2 in here and 3 here and 4 and 5. So I don't know if that's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 just for the third wave, and this is the fourth and this is the fifth. So I don't know if we got one more move down here, but if we took that top out there, then we'd be bullish at that point. So that's reasonably healthy. And crude, we're looking for a bit of an expanded flat here, so an impulse wave up here with an A and a B and a C for the B wave, and then a push up into the C wave here. Yes, it could go further up, you know, because this move down through here is already corrective. It's bullish corrective, but yeah, we'll just see. We just don't want to get caught out with this move through here, but certainly has the ability to move higher at that point too. But keep an eye on our charts for that. And gold. So if you watched the gold video yesterday, you'll know that we can view this as wave 1 or wave A, and we're expecting wave B to pull back a little bit further. So it's dropping down nicely. It's a little bit tighter in there. It'll just retest that 1800 before moving lower in that space. Let's just go to the 6-hour chart and just have a look at how that's okay. So that's all good. So it does appear here that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for wave A here. It may or may not be finished, and then we'll be looking at wave B, and then we'll be looking at wave C here. There should be some sort of equality between wave A and wave C as well. So, but down to that 1750 is what we're looking at this stage, and we can view this as some sort of B wave and C wave coming into that space. So yeah, let's just see how that plays out. I mean, this can also be wave 2 here, of course, wave 1 here and wave 2 here. And wave 2 would just be a simple zigzag, so a 5-3-5 structure. Wave B can be the same, just a 5-3-5 structure. But B wave can also be really complicated. So if the B wave gets really complicated, then we'll know it's a B wave, but otherwise we won't know which one it is. And even going up here, I still won't know which one it is either for a while, you know. So it's going to be a bit of a process. Yeah, nothing I can do about that, because that's going to be an impulsive wave, just the same as it, you know, being this wave C of D and then turning at that point. It's going to be the same structure, which would just be this structure here. Probably not as long because that got oversold, so we could probably just take it down to about that length. Maybe 78.6% of that we could add back to here to put there, which should be about right on that trend line. So, I do want to have a look at the Australian dollar next. Now, I've just got this on the tick chart, and this is the low here. This is 100 ticks, okay? And the move up here is wave 1, not a problem. Wave 2, not a problem. And then we've got 1, 2, well, I can look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third wave, fourth wave and fifth wave to make wave 1, pulling back to the wave 2 here. So this is how we can look at it, as up for 1, back for 2, up for 1, back for 2. But it's also possible to look at this as an A wave, a B wave and a C wave here and have it as a corrective move. But we could only go there if it came down further, like, yeah, if it just came down if it came down here much further, we'll have to look at it like that. I was hoping that the Australian dollar and the US dollar would mirror each other, US dollar index, but they're not in a way. So, but we do need to look at that. So we're going to look at that now, and because it's rallied so high here, then I'm sort of forced to look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Now, if I take the top here to the bottom here and then measure that to the 5th wave in terms of height, they're pretty much the same. This is just a little tiny tad longer. I don't know how we should feel about that. But yeah, I mean, if we're going to be bearish, we need to look at it as wave 4 up here, 5 waves down for wave 1 here, and then an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave for wave 2. It's pulled back to the 50%. It looks like it's already got its sort of little pattern in there, so don't particularly want to see it higher. We could probably, I'd have to pull that apart a bit more to see that, but yeah, let's just see if the Australian dollar turns up from where it is, and let's see if this turned down from where it is. If this 61.8% here at F93 became the support, and we would look at that with a classic trading levels pattern like this, if that was a 93 across here, then we would have to turn bullish at that point for the US dollar. Now, when I say bullish, it will still be bullish corrective, because I know that we're in a corrective rally, but it would take us a little bit higher at that point. But before we get there, let's just go step by step and allow this to play out. So let's see if this turns down lower from this point. If anybody's got any better ideas, then please let me know. Okay, so for the US stocks, for the Australian stocks, we're starting with the US ADR here. We're still waiting for BHP to as an A wave, a B wave, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's getting there, isn't it? But it's just not there yet. We could look at this as 1 and 2 here, and coming down for 3, 4, 5, but it's still like about 10 days off or something. So it's kind of a little bit lagging in that regard, especially when we look at it to the Australian market. You know, they should all be be pretty close to each other at that point. So with the US BHP here, we're looking at it, and this is also a bit of a long shot really. I'll just talk about that in a moment, but as an A wave here, B wave here, and a C wave here. I mean, I've done that because it would line up with the US markets, because the US markets as a B wave didn't make a new high there. So it's kind of just why we're here. If we go back, this is, just have to get in here a bit. Let's just look at, just want to show you something. So if I remember correctly, I might just go to weekly chart here, or even monthly could be even better. Let me just bring all this in here. See, it's like we have this double top over here in this case, so just comparing the markets together. I mean, also in here as well, you know, it appears that we've got 5 waves up here, so an A, B, C pattern here. So, you know, unless this is a massive B wave here, like all of this is the A wave here, big B wave here, and we go down for a C wave here. But otherwise, we would look at this, you know, still being quite bullish at this point. But this double top here, then when we go and have a look at the New York market with that double top there, you'll see how they're slightly different. This is daily, but let me just go to the monthly there, just to make things a little bit clearer. In this case, BHP made a nice clean high up here, and also US BHP is only sitting at 80 here, where the Australian market has taken out this high. This move down through here, it doesn't appear to be in 5 waves, so it's like it's got 5 waves to this point, and then a B wave here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Probably could count that a bit differently, but there's not 5 waves in here. So to me, it was always a corrective wave here. So I was looking at this as wave 1 and back for wave 2 here, and then building up here. But we do need to be careful that we don't have this as an A wave here, a B wave back up, and then a C wave down. So we just got to keep an eye on the bigger picture with all of this to make sure that they don't get too far out of hand in that regard. So so if this pulled back down too far down through here, then we would have to consider that. So let me just have a look at this on the daily chart. I haven't seen it on this program for a while. I mean, we've got this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. There's probably a case for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, so we'll just need to be careful about that. I mean, it's sort of coming down more like a third wave, isn't it, rather than a C wave, because it's so coming down so sharp, you know? So, at what point does China think that it's cheap enough to get their, to start purchasing again and getting their other steel mills happening and get things going again, I mean, they're trying to teach us a lesson as well, of course. I don't know the full story about that, but... Okay, so, but even so, with this one here, we're just looking, if US BHP still hasn't made a low below third wave here, it's still up here, the US BHP still got further to go, so it's likely that we're going to go down further here. So we'll probably end up coming through the 40, and hopefully that we can get support back on top of the 40 here and get some kind of setup at that point. But we just got to be careful how far this goes, because if that's wave 3, there should be some sort of relationship between the length of wave 1 and wave 5 here. Now wave 1 was really small, so we could look at wave 4 to wave 5 here being 61.8% of the length of wave 3. That could play out, but also too, we need to take that 40 into consideration. There is a bit of a case for wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to be finished right here as well, but I just can't see that being the case because the US BHP is not in place yet either for that. Let's just have a look at Fortescue as well. So with Fortescue here, as you may know, counting all of this down here, we got on the hourly chart or the tick chart, we've got to wave 3 here and 4 here, and then we're looking for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So we've still got, sort of 5 to 10 days in this space here too. So 1650 for this market. But this is a good case for, this move up here, right? That doesn't tell me that it's 5 waves. Right, it tells me that it's 3 waves. This move here is in 3 waves. So to me, all of this is bullish corrective, and obviously this is iron ore. So, I think that China will change its policy, steel mills around this time here, or maybe I'm completely wrong, but certainly this pattern to me is pretty clear of what's happening here for this. Of course, it could get larger. I mean, all of this here just could become the A wave here, and then we sort of look back for a B wave over here and we go down again for a C wave. I mean, that's all sort of possible as well, but we'll need to sort of study that in the bigger picture, and maybe we should just have a video on these stocks and the commodities to have a look at the much bigger picture. I'll start to do some work in the background on all of this. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.